Okay, today I am going to be going through visual storytelling. So the first term for you to be familiar with today is called a tableau. The easy way to remember what a tableau is that it's a stage picture. Here is your formal definition of it. A group of models or motionless figures representing a scene from a story or from history, also known as a tableau vivant. But what I want you to think of when we think of tableau is a stage picture, a frozen moment in time. That's what a tableau is. So if we were in class right now, I would have everybody repeat the word tableau. So in your own space, I would like you to repeat after me, tableau. And please don't turn your mics on. Just do that for me, and I'm going to trust that we did that. Tableau is a frozen moment in a narrative. So here is an example of a tableau that is taken from a theater class. So my question for you after looking at this image is, what could the story of this moment be? And please write something in the chat for me. I'm going to give us 30 seconds and I'm going to monitor the chat. 30 seconds, what could the story of this moment be? Go in the chat. And I'm not seeing anything in the chat. There we go, much better. Much better. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, fighting, girl in the chairs being worshipped, could be a battle scene, praising a god, people fighting, a war, pirates slashing at feet. Excellent. Surfing. Yeah, excellent, guys. Okay, look at that. Absolutely. Those are all of the possibilities of what the story of this moment could be. Excellent. Very good. So you have now analyzed your very first tableau. Congratulations. That is fantastic. Okay. So there are certain elements of a tableau. You're probably getting used to hearing the word elements, that there are elements of art, there are elements of theater, and there are elements of tableau. So the elements of tableau, one of the first elements is individual facial expressions and body shapes or gestures. So this photo is an excellent example of a tableau. You have actors that are using their whole face and body. They are showing character. They are showing action with their bodies, and they're showing emotion with their faces. So that's one of the elements of an effective tableau. Another element is the use of levels, levels and depth. So levels, we're really just talking about where the body is situated in the stage picture. So this gentleman is on a high level. This gentleman is on a medium level. This lady and gentleman are down on a low level. And if we were in the theater right now, we would be talking about three-dimensional space as well, where you have one actor who is upstage and one actor who is downstage. We're not going to be worried about that quite so much because it's difficult to talk about those things in the two-dimensional space of video. But what we do want to pay attention to is levels, high, medium, and low. So high, medium, and low. The next element of tableau is character and spatial relationships or connections. We want to pay attention to eye contact. So all of these characters are all looking down at the same character. They are all focusing on this same character. Physical contact. Are the actors touching? Are they not touching? Are they using positive or negative space? Negative space is any area that a person is not inhabiting, that we don't have any pieces of furniture or props inhabiting that space. It's negative because there is nothing there. All of these actors are in close proximity to one another, these three actors here. So that's the word proximity. But then this actor is further, oh, excuse me, this actor is further away from them. So that's distance. So those are all examples of words that come up when we're talking about Tableau. So that when you are examining photographs or pieces of art, you'll be practicing looking at items and saying, okay, so are those items in close proximity to each other, or are they at a distance from one another? Is every piece of the frame taken up with some kind of object? If so, there's going to be very little negative space. But if I am back like this, there is a ton of negative space around me. So that's just kind of a very, very basic run through on some of the elements of Tableau. So as I said, we can actually practice looking for these elements in recreated works of art. So this is an example of a tableau, a photograph that tells a moment of narration. It tells a story. We have characters that are in close proximity to one another. We have different levels, high, mediums, and lows. We also have a variation of those things. There is use of positive and negative space here. We have characters that are expressing themselves with facial expressions. And we have three-dimensional space created by a suggestion of lines. So this photograph is an example of a recreated work of art. So right over here is the famous Norman Rockwell's Thanksgiving painting. And over here is the cast of the television show Modern Family recreating the painting with accuracy, skill, and creativity. So what I'd like you to do in the chat is use some adjectives to describe the facial expressions that you see over here in the Modern Family version. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Adjectives to describe facial expressions, go. Good. Joyous. Oh, what a good word. Ooh, somebody said annoyed. Okay. Tired, maybe. Okay. Serious, excited, having a good time. Scared. Okay. Celebrating, forced, perhaps. Good. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So I want to point out that if we're looking at this photo, you have people at a higher level here, medium level here, and low level here. So you have a variety of levels, and that variety of levels and the use of proximity and distance, all of these things, whether we realize it or not, have an effect on whether or not we as human beings find photographs and works of art appealing, aesthetically appealing, aesthetically pleasing, which is just a fancy way of saying, oh, I really like looking at that work of art or at that photograph. So all of these things have to do with composition and what is pleasing to the human eye. Now, what you are going to be doing this week is actually recreating a work of art or a photograph. Now, before you panic, I'm going to show you a video that's going to walk you through some examples of what other people have been doing. So an interesting thing happened when the stay-at-home orders first started in March. This trend of recreating famous works of art became like a social media trend. And we have a video on this very trend that I'm going to show you now.
And now some homegrown creativity. Jeffrey Brown looks at a social media challenge that is drawing responses from around the world with everyday shelter-in-place life imitating art. It's part of our ongoing arts and culture series, Canvas.
There are no selfies being taken with the Mona Lisa right now. We captured this scene at the Louvre last year during the blockbuster Leonardo da Vinci exhibition. Instead, a new kind of selfie with art is making its way through social media, an updated version of Grant Wood's American Gothic. A dad and his home from school children in a loose version of a 17th century Italian painting titled Lot and His Daughters. Appropriate to the moment, screams. The current call for recreating a work of art at home seems to have begun with a Dutch Instagram account called, in translation, Between Art and Quarantine. It was picked up by others, including the world-renowned Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, celebrated for its Rembrandt collection. The result, playful recreations of old masters' paintings. In Los Angeles, the Getty started #Getty Museum Challenge, inviting people to use digitized and downloadable artworks. Annalisa Stefan is the Getty's Assistant Director of Digital Content.
I've seen people connecting, total strangers connecting through this experience, cheering each other on and liking and commenting and favoriting their favorite creations. I also think art has a role to play in helping us make sense of this strange time. I thought maybe we'd be lucky if we got 30. That would have been a big success. And I feel like we got probably closer to 30,000, maybe more. So totally surprised.
Andy Warhol's soup cans get an update to toilet paper. A man stuck at home dreams of Napoleonic conquest.
My favorite is a Renaissance manuscript page, and the artist added a thermometer into the composition, and she had been recovering from pneumonia at the time. So, this kind of sadness of where we are today can coexist with the joy of being creative and seeing other people be creative in a really lovely way.
Among the clear favorites for social distancing art lovers, pets in all kinds of poses and costumes, and the work of 17th century Dutch painter Johannes Vermeer. Sometimes, as in Pug with a Pearl Earring, pet and painter come together. Another favorite, Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. One mother made her own version of Kahlo's self-portrait with monkeys. Alana Archer turned to household cleaning products.
I was looking specifically for just kind of a strong portrait of a woman, and her painting was just striking to me. There was a sense of empowerment in it that I really enjoyed.
The challenge is just one among numerous efforts museums everywhere are making to connect with absent visitors. Many are offering virtual tours of their collections. And while it's not the same as being in the museum and standing in front of a great work of art, this challenge is clearly connecting people to art in new and creative ways and offering the rest of us a smile in the process. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown.
I also think art.
Okay, in the chat, I would like you to respond to the video that you just watched. What did you think about these recreated works of art? What did you think about that? I'd like everybody to respond. What is your reaction to these recreated works of art? Okay, thank you, Carlos and Mai. Others? Okay, good. Excellent. Yes, very creative and interesting. Excellent. Okay, well, as people are going through the chat, we are, sorry, I went a little too far forward there. Since we cannot be together in our theater recreating large works of art the way we would if we were in class in person, each of you is going to have an opportunity to recreate your own work of art. And I'm going to give you parameters, obviously, about what you should be doing, but first I'm going to show you some examples. So, as I just stated, your next assignment is to recreate a work of art accurately. So accurately as much as possible. As you can see here, obviously this person is not going to have the exact same costume as the woman in this photograph, but she got creative and came up with ways that she could do it. She also accurately reflected the posture, the level, and instead of having, you know, this specific type of dog, she used her own little dog. So that's what I mean by accurately. as accurately as possible. Skillfully, showing me that you took the time to recreate the scene to the best of your ability. Obviously, this young woman here who probably had an adult helping her, they took great care to try to recreate this scene as closely as possible. If you don't have all of these kind of items in your house, don't worry about it. There are going to be plenty of photos that you can try to recreate. But this is what I mean by skillfully, that the person carefully looked at the original work of art and to the best of their ability recreated that image. What I love about these two examples is that, boy, they got creative here. Nobody expects anyone to have costumes like these lying around their house. But this woman took a green bedspread to create this. This gentleman didn't have a hat like this, but it looks like he put a crock pot on his head. They got very creative. They staged it in a way that looks so similar to the original painting, but it's so creative. This one down here I love. The young girl looking out a window becomes a young woman looking into a refrigerator with that same kind of light. Boy, that's creative. So your job this week, your assignment this week, is to choose one of the following 15 works of art. Notice that I said one of the following, okay? You are not choosing all 15. You are looking at all 15 and you are deciding on one that you can accurately, skillfully, and creatively recreate. You also have the option to choose your own work of art, but you must include the original screenshot with your recreation and it must be school appropriate. So let's take a look at some of the possibilities here. Number one. And I want to say something about this one specifically. Again, the idea is to be creative. If you were to choose this one, no one's expecting you to have all of these animals in your home. But what I would expect you to do, if you chose this one, is figure out a way to creatively, accurately, and skillfully recreate the scene. So that's one option. 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So those are your options. You will choose one of those to creatively, skillfully, and accurately recreate. So after choosing your piece, this is the second part to this assignment, you will create an artist statement in which you explain to your audience how you recreated your piece by paying attention to body posture and character expression, use of space with levels, distance, and proximity, use of shapes, real or suggested, and use of color. And then you will include your photo and your artist statement in your class period Tableau album. So when I click here, it takes me to our class period Tableau album. And let's see here. So I have given you the instructions. So you choose, sorry, it's loading. You choose which tableau you will recreate accurately, skillfully, and creatively. Notice that I keep saying those 3 words over and over again. In this slide deck, you will add a after your choice of photo. You will add a slide after your choice of photo. And I've given you instructions here on how to change the format to make sure that it looks the way that I want all of the different photos to look. You will stage your Tableau recreation and upload the photo to your slide. So everyone had some practice with this with the Gish scavenger hunt last week, uploading a photo to a Google slide deck. Make sure that you're not editing anybody else's slides or editing any of the slides that are already there. Only work within your own slide. And then you will type your artist statement, which addresses at least 3 of the art and Tableau elements: shape, color, levels, posture, and space. And then you'll complete this Google form, which is a link when you're complete. So to see what this slideshow looks like, I've given you an example of which template to use. I believe it's the title and 2 columns slide template. Your first and last name will go on the top. You'll upload your photo here, and then you'll write your artist statement here so that it will look similar to this. This is just an example. So Susie Student writes, in my recreated Tableau, I decided to choose a piece that I felt I could creatively interpret. The rectangular frame of my window is similar to the rectangular painting behind the subject. And I chose clothing colors that looked similar to the ones in the painting. I also decided to use my cat and had many different versions of the photo where he didn't cooperate. So there's a typo there, but that's okay. In this one, he looked like he was looking down at the baby at a level and posture similar to the baby. Finally, I made sure to position myself to take up as much space in the frame as the original subject. So that's the student's artist statement. And don't get freaked out by, the idea of I have to write an artist statement. It's a really short paragraph describing what you did to recreate the Tableau. This student would definitely earn a high grade due to specifically writing about all 5 of the possible art and Tableau elements. You only have to write about 3. But if you want an A on this, you would do your best to address all 5, okay? In our Thursday Zoom meeting, that Zoom meeting is going to be dedicated specifically to me helping you write your artist statement, where I will be walking you through. I can give you sentence frames. I will help you with that. So just to keep that in mind, that is coming on Thursday. So the rest of the slideshow looks like the examples that I just gave you. So if I escape out of this and I'm looking at the presentation that all of you have access to, if I wanted to recreate this one with the gentleman with the green wall, then I would add a slide like that. And the instructions are up here on this slide, but I'm going to walk you through it. I would go up here to slide, click on it for a drop-down menu, and then I would click apply layout. And the one that I want is title and 2 columns. And that's where I would write my first and last name. That's where I would insert my image. And this is where I would type my artist statement. Now, if 30 of you choose this photo, then yeah, there will be 30 slides after that one. Your job today is going to be deciding which of these works of art you are going to recreate. This is your Tableau rubric. If you want an A on it, then you should be accurately and creatively recreating a Tableau for an audience of your instructor and peers. And you should be skillfully articulating your artist statement, which addresses 3 to 5 art and Tableau elements. And your pacing for the week, oh, there we go. Your pacing for the week, an example on what we should be doing. Today is Tuesday, but we're gonna look at Monday, what you should have accomplished yesterday. Yesterday, you should have read through the week's outline, or if you didn't wanna read through it, you could have watched the video of me going through the week's outline. You watch the 2 videos on Edpuzzle and answer the questions. Retake it if you don't do well. I'll take your highest score. Let me know if you don't do well on it, and I'll reset it for you. The videos are so important to understanding how to write your artist statements this week, because all of you that watched the shape video, hopefully you were able to understand now what circles and triangles and squares communicate to an audience. And if any of you are cartoon watchers, especially Pixar watchers, you probably have noticed these things in the past. This is one of my favorite videos to show students because students really have this kind of aha moment about how shapes work. So today, Tuesday, we have just reviewed the examples and the choices that you have to recreate the photo or painting. So today, what you should be doing is making your choice and then starting to plan your tableau. You want to make sure that you control the entire frame and that you make it as accurate as possible, but be really creative. Nobody expects you to have all of these items in your home. The same way that what we saw in the video is, people were using rolls of toilet paper and cleaning agents. I mean, get creative. Add your slide after your choice and do the formatting of your slide so that you have claimed a slide and you are ready to put it in there this week. Tomorrow, you should complete the check-in. You will also have an Edpuzzle video tomorrow where you are watching a video and answering questions about Tableau. Again, retake it if you don't do well. I will take your highest score. Practice with your photo. Retake the photo until it is an example of your best work. Thursday, complete the check-in and attend Zoom class. Finish your Tableau photo and upload it to the class slideshow on the slide that you added and named. That is going to make it so much easier for me to help you write your artist statement. Because I know a lot of us are new to this language. So if your photo is up there, I can help us look at the photo and say, okay, what do you notice here? How can you describe the choice that you made here? That's what the artist statement is all about. And then on Friday, you will complete your check-in. You will review your work, check it for spelling and grammar, capitalization, all of those things. Google is the perfect tool at your fingertips. There are no excuses for having spelling errors when you have a computer tool in front of you that can catch them for you. Click on the Google form included in the slide deck when you are finished. There's a couple of very brief questions there for you to answer. And then give yourself a pat on the back for your latest creative endeavor. This is another piece that will go into the perform category. So I guarantee you, you do well on this, you get a 3 or a 4, you're gonna see that grade shoot up again. So that is my presentation for you. I'm going to stop recording now so that I can come back to the class. You can turn your videos back on and you can let me know if you have any questions at all. So give me just a sec.